Freddie Freeman and Kenley Jansen, we just talked about it. They're each going to face their former team tonight. Freddie, by the way, had a big day yesterday. He was 4 for 5. Meanwhile, Jansen, 352 career saves, second only to Craig Kimbrell, and he is the Dodgers franchise saves leader. So there you see, both these guys, 12 seasons with their respective teams. And, you know, look, it adds a little juice to the schedule early on.
I think it does. You know, first of all, it's two real good teams. So I think this is a good time to measure yourself. How are you measuring up against the opponent? And there's a couple guys who've kind of felt the fountain of youth. Clayton Kershaw looked excellent his last start. Perfect, actually. And then we'll see where that takes us, you know, because they're going to lean on veterans as well as young guys, both teams, to be able to repeat the postseason success they've had in the past.
All right. Meanwhile, the Phillies and the Rockies, they'll start a 3-game set, and it gets underway at 8:40 Eastern tonight. You got Aaron Nola going up against Chad Kuhl. And look, the Phillies' bats are not quite as hot as they expected early on here, as Philadelphia has lost 5 of its last 6. Meanwhile, Colorado, Cliff's gotten off to a great start so far. They're 6-3, and they're scoring a ton of runs.
Well, you know what? Some guys have some opportunities to play, and I think that's important when you look at this team. And then C.J. Cron, I mean, he is knocking the cover off the ball, but those numbers play. And you look at this Rockies team, if they do that, you know, they can stay in this thing.
All right. Also, we've got the Reds and the Padres. That's a game some of you are going to see here on MLB Network. It's a 9:40 Eastern start. The first of 3, Nick Lodolo will get an opportunity to see if he can help the Reds snap their 6-game losing streak. Meanwhile, Sean Manaea has had 2 starts, and he has been lights out, just a 1.38 ERA. And look at what he's done in that brand-new Padres uniform. He's got to be one of the filthiest starting pitchers in the game today, Mike.
He sure is. I think this was a great pickup for San Diego. It kind of changes the flow. I mean, he's a guy, he's kind of a mystery to me, because when you see his delivery, it kind of seems like he kind of lulls you to sleep, and then boom, it's 95. You know, he's not one of these guys that's just 88, 89 trying to pick corners. He's very impressive, and I'm sure the Padres are delighted so far with what they've got this year.
What do you make, Cliff, of the NL West so far? Because the Rockies have gotten off to a great start. Dodgers winners now of 6 in a row. We knew they were going to rise to the top.
Yeah.
And the Giants a year ago won 107 games, franchise record there. And so far, so good.
I don't think the Giants were a fluke last year. I think they were. I think, you know, there's something to be said about philosophies that everybody buys into. And when you have guys like the Giants do, mixed in with a couple really good veterans in Crawford. Now, obviously, you lost Posey. But when you look at this team, Mikey, for me, it stands out like the Giants put the ball in play. They're patient at the plate. They catch the ball. They get quality innings from their starters. And you have an ace in Logan Webb. And so I look at this and go, the Giants are for real. The Dodgers always seem to make the right moves. Freddie Freeman, like, come on. You don't just get to get Freddie Freeman and continue to, you know, keep it moving. I think this NL West is going to be tight down the stretch. I hope the Rockies stay in it. I do. I hope the Rockies just continue to keep raking, allowing those pitchers to go out there and be a little free and not have to be perfect. And this will be fun throughout the whole summer.
I like the fact that I'm with you, Cliffy, that I want the Rockies to be in it, because I want to see nothing against the D-backs, but at least 4 teams being competitive all the way through.
Okay.
And the Giants, they're riding tremendous pitching, right, to the start of the season. And Logan Webb and Carlos Rodon have been absolutely outstanding. I think the unsung heroes are not the household names. You know, look here, Tyler Rogers. He comes in high leverage situations. He has got a sub-2 ERA. You got guys like John Brebbia and Jarlin Garcia. Like, you can't name these guys. They haven't given up a run. You know, they're coming in those spot situations. So they're riding the bullpen. The starters have been great. The offense is middle of the pack. So my question is that sustainable? Right. You know, can you rely on pitching that much if your offense is middle of the pack? I think last year their offense really surpassed and surprised people.
You're 100% right, because they've been involved in a lot of close games, 1-run games early already. They've come out victorious for the most part.
But when you win 100-plus games and you talk about unsung heroes type players, Mike, we've been there before. You know, we've been on teams that just We like, whoa, you give us an inch, we'll take a mile. You give a young team an opportunity to play, go out there and buy into what we're preaching in the clubhouse. Gabe Kaplan on down through the system, they're preaching something that works. And when it starts to work, confidence is something else. You can have all the names. Give me the guys that's on the same page with us consistently and go out here fight when we get across that white line, and let's get after it.
I agree.
And I think that's what they're doing. So is it sustainable? I say yes based on that.
I'm just saying sustainable at the pitching at this level.
That level.
Now, maybe offense gets better. Pitching's going to – they're not going to pitch at a 1.2 ERA all year. But that pendulum can kind of swing and they can stay there. I'm with you, Cliffy. 107 games isn't a fluke. Right. If you won 92 and they expect you to win 84, maybe you skated 6 games. 107 means you were dominating teams. And by the way, you were playing the Dodgers 19 times. And they still will this year. Next year we go into more – I don't know what the balanced schedule, let's call it, instead of unbalanced schedule. So they're going to be there. I mean, they've created something. They've created a culture of winning. And I think when you win 107 games, the leadership, baseball ops managers have the latitude to kind of say, this is our way because it works.